And now we're approaching the Temple of Time, where we found the Sword of Time, and we'll be playing the Ocarina of Time. I'm so funny. Hello everybody, Mr. Gear to you, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In the previous episode, well, I don't know what you watched in the previous episode, because after all, it is your choice on how the order you're going to be watching these videos in. So that's a phrase we're not going to be using too often during this series. So instead, what we'll be doing at the beginning of these videos is I'm going to give you guys a bit of a rundown on what I've accomplished so far. So because, technically speaking, if you're watching these out of order, then yeah, the timeline is going to be a little bit weird, so I'm going to try my best to be as consistent as possible, but there may be times where that's just not going to happen. So, in this video, we'll be going off towards the point on the map that we marked with our yellow pin. If you're going on the alternate route, then you're going to be going towards the mountains over there, but this isn't the alternate route, this is episode 2. That's one more episode than the episode 1. That's how math works. So, as we go across over this direction, I want to... Oh, first of all, there are some new enemies over here. These are Stalthos. So they only appear at night, and they are kind of undead bokoblins, and they are rude. So, basically what you want to do when you're fighting them is, when you knock their skeleton apart, they will still be alive for a moment until you destroy the skull. It's kind of gross. And now we have a bokoblin arm. I'm sorry, I just love that theme song. ARMS is a pretty fun game, which actually came out a few months after this game did. And this right here, this is a new enemy. It's very evil and very powerful. You do not want to fight this thing right now. Or rather, that's what I would be saying if I wasn't saying, BRING IT ON! Never mind. On a field recording, I was able to do a really cool trick right there, but I'm kind of running out of shields right now, so I can't do that right now. Actually, there's a bad guy right here we can fight, and they have a shield. So let's destroy you, and hopefully we'll be able to accomplish our destiny of being unnecessarily epic. So before I do that, I want to point out something that you can do with the shield. If you have the ZL button out and you press the A button, you can do a parry like that. That's a very useful defensive maneuver, so let's try this again. Hopefully this time without fail. There we go! You can instantly destroy those enemies with their own lasers! This is a trick that is very well worth mentioning right now, because it just feels so unnecessarily epic. And this over here, we have another DLC treasure chest. A Nintendo Switch t-shirt. This is interesting and all, but keep in mind, this game was also available on Wii U. So can you imagine what that must have been like to have the Wii U version of this game, knowing that a superior Switch version was out there, and then you got the DLC, and then there was a t-shirt in-game reminding you that there was a Nintendo Switch version of this game? I would like to someday get the Wii U version of this game just for the sake of having it. There's probably no reason to own that one now that the Switch version is the thing, but it would still be fun to own the Wii U version at some point. I will definitely say that the first couple months of playing this game, it was pretty interesting because Miiverse was still active when this game first came out. So it was kind of interesting seeing on the Miiverse community people sharing their experiences with this game. And it also kind of felt like a bit of a lonely experience playing the Switch version without a Miiverse or anything like that. There is, of course, the option to upload video clips and things like that onto your Twitter or Facebook through the Switch, but Miiverse was a very different site, and it was a very different experience using Miiverse on these games, so it kind of felt isolated in a way when I was playing on this version and seeing all those people posting to the Miiverse community. It's something that you definitely won't experience nowadays, but it's just a memory that I have playing this game the first time. But now that we've activated the terminal, we now have 2 new runes, and they're both explosives. To change your rune, press the up on the D-pad, then you can use the right thumbstick to change between them. This dungeon is going to be your tutorial on how bombs are going to work in this game. So bombs work very differently in this game compared to other Zelda games. So, in this game, you're able to detonate the bomb whenever you want. Press the L button again to detonate it, and then we can go over here and open our sweet, sweet reward. The Traveler's Claymore, but the inventory is full. Oh boy, ain't that exciting. Alright, so what weapons do we not need? I don't need you. This right here, this is a Traveler's Claymore. This is the first weapon that we've collected so far that's a two-handed weapon. If you're watching this video after the alternate route, then you may have already seen a two-handed weapon in that video. But remember that these videos, I'm going to be talking about these videos, timeline thingies, in order of the playlist and things like that. So some statements like that may seem a little bit dated, but that's just something that's gonna kind of have to happen. I apologize for any inconsistencies. Ah, wait! Right, explosives hurt your face. Try not to blow up your own face, it's not very good. There's one trick that I can definitely recommend if you want to hear it is, you can, when you're jumping around like this, you can go a little bit further if you go like this. So whenever to pull out your shield, you can jump and then press the A button to do a bit of a shield surfing maneuver. This is something that's way more useful when you're running around in snow or running around on hills. But it's also a pretty good technique for jumping just a little bit further if you need to. So going back to the two-handed weapon real quick, one thing that I would definitely say about it is that of all the melee types in the game, the two-handed weapon is my second least favorite in the game. Not that they're bad or anything like that, it's just that they're a lot slower to use, and when I'm fighting enemies, I prefer having faster weapons, like a sword or a club or something like that. That's just my personal opinion. So we can drop our Circle Bomb in there, and then with the magic of physics, it'll go flinging off in the distance, and then we can blow it up. Yay! And now we can go upside the ladder and continue onward to our merry way through our path of glory. Yay! As soon as we get our stamina back, there we go. Your resourcefulness in overcoming this trial speaks to the promise of a hero. In the name of Goddess Hylia, I bestow upon you this spirit orb. And we get another spirit orb. Yay, they're shiny and circular and purple. May the goddess smile upon you. So, when we get off the Great Plateau, I'm just going to let you know that we're going to be skipping over most of those speeches because they're all pretty much more or less the same. And there are a lot of shrines in this game, so I don't want to see too much repetitive dialogue. And I gotta say, the loading times of this game are incredible. It's also really impressive how fast this game loads, considering how massive it is. So this right here, this is a Bumble Wall. We've seen a couple of these already, but Bumble Walls, as you may or may not know, tend to explode when you throw a bomb at them. That's kind of the reason why they're called Bumble Walls. So that's a pretty fun thing you can check out. There was another one that we saw a little bit earlier that we can explode as well. Not a good idea, not a good idea, not a good idea. Whew. I was thinking it could be unnecessarily epic right there, but there are times where safety is more important than unnecessary epicness. Now, I know, you don't want to hear that. What you want to hear is that unnecessary epicness is the most important aspect of life. But what's the point of unnecessary epicness if you can't live to tell the tale about it? I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway. The next thing we're going to be going towards is this direction, because there's a couple more things I'd like to demonstrate. Namely, this enemy camp over here. Now, in my notes, I told myself when I was writing my notes for this Let's Play to come here at night, but magic butterfly! Ah, magic butterfly! flatter, flat. Oh, it's gone now. So in my notes, I told myself to come over here at night, but I think I can still demonstrate this without that. So we go over this direction, pull up our bow and arrow, and do the ET strategy of making the bees attack for us. Yes. Wow, those bees suck. Alright, so... Oh, you got flying pretty far. Let's see if we can knock you off the plateau. Oh, that was beautiful. Okay, let's attack you now. So, one advantage of having a two-handed weapon is that because they're a lot stronger, you're more often than not going to knock away the shield of an enemy. So that's something that's definitely worth mentioning. And the reason why we want to knock down the beehives is because we can get some coarser bee honey, which is going to be pretty important for some things we can do a little bit later. Speaking of later, that's almost right now, because the objective we're going towards is right over there. And this is a pretty nice looking house. I could see myself living in a place like this, or something like that. Maybe not quite this old, maybe if it was made with some brand new materials or things like that. But I'm not picky. And we get some spicy peppers in here. We can destroy the jaws and pick up a woodcutter's axe if we had inventory space. Okay, that is something you're going to see a lot in this game. You're going to see yourself run out of inventory space a lot. And that's something that's just a little unfortunate. It's kind of like Earthbound in a way where it seems like you run out of inventory no matter how far you are into the game. Oh, fancy that. So we meet again. What are you doing? I thought this tree might make for some good firewood. However, getting a tree to fall exactly where you want it to is quite an art. The trick is to turn your hips so that they face where you want the tree to land. So, I see you found my axe. Why not help me out and give it a few swings? I'm working on quite a sweat here, but these bones could use a break. I hope your bones don't break, because that would be kind of bad. So, we go over here, and let's see if we can make the tree land on the old man. Let's do it! Let's do it! He's running away! Oh, I see you did more work for me. Wonderful! You almost killed me on the way, but I'm sure that's fine. Go ahead and take some of the wood for yourself. Alright, so whenever you knock down trees, you can attack them again, and they'll turn into some wood. And that's pretty fascinating indeed. The properties of wood is something we'll be getting into a little bit later. But as of right now, let's knock over this tree over here. And walk across this area. I always get so nervous walking along that tree branch thingy. Let's attack this guy. Woodcutter's axe is not a good weapon for what we're doing. You're about to poke me with a stick. I don't appreciate that. There we go. Alrighty then, let's attack you. And this right here, this is a Backhoe Spear. This is the first spear weapon in this game. So basically how this works is that it's kind of like a melee weapon, but the thing is you can't have your shield equipped while using this thing. So that is a bit unfortunate if you want to go for a more defensive strategy, but the advantage is that you can attack enemies from a bit of a longer distance. So it's great, definitely great in that department, and personally speaking, I really like the spears. They're some of my more personal favorite weapons in this game, particularly for this one very specific reason, which we'll be getting into in a future episode. So there are a bunch of apples right here, and you may be wondering, well, that's going to take a while to get. Well, luckily, I have a strategy. We can blow up the tree! I'm pure evil. Most melee weapons will break you faster if you try using a tree on them, but the useful thing about the woodcutter's axe is that it doesn't take near as much damage if you use it on a tree. So that's something that's definitely worth mentioning! I started rolling around and I was getting nervous I was going to fall off while I was still on it, and that would have been unpleasant. That would not have been a good experience at all. So anywho, let's go over here and talk to this guy. What is it? What are you doing? This body of mine isn't what it used to be. Recovering from a bout of hard work takes a while. If you're hungry, I have an empty pot you can use to cook yourself a meal. Got any tips? Simply open your inventory, grab hold of your ingredients, and toss them in. Try to consider how the ingredients will complement one another. You can even make a dish that will increase your stamina. It's all about being creative and trying different things. So we see a book that's inside this house, so maybe that'll give us some cooking tips as well. The Old Man's Diary. Is it a diary of a wimpy kid, though? On this desolate plateau, the only pleasure that brings me comfort is cooking. And today, I outdid myself. Truly, I created the perfect dish. I called it Spicy Meat and Seafood Fry. This recipe not only restores health, but it also keeps me warm, even when traveling in snowy mountains. When this dish is on my side, I am no longer have need of that itchy warm double. I do not know how I allowed this to happen, but it seems I forgot to write down a very important recipe. I know it contained raw meat and spicy pepper, however, I simply cannot remember what else I used. My age is catching up to me. Sadly, on this lonely plateau, I have only my own knowledge and memory to rely on. Still, if I did find someone who knew the missing ingredient, I would happily reward them with my warm double. However, it seems unlikely that such a miraculous wish will ever be fulfilled. Miraculous, simply the best, up to the test when things go wrong. Miraculous, the luckiest. Attack artist, if you're watching this, I blame you. I cannot think miraculous without hearing that song. Oh boy. Okay, we're missing something. So, we have the spicy pepper already, but we don't have any regular meat. So, we're gonna need to come back here a little bit later. Might be a good idea to pick up this pot lid before we do anything else, though. So, we're gonna be going back over towards this direction to go over towards the Forest of Spirits, because I'm pretty sure there might be some animals over there that might help us in breaking our shield. Great idea, Lady Yardy. Great idea. Okay, so that trick I was trying to do, it's called shield surfing. You jump, and then you press the A button when your shield is out, and you can surf around on your shield. It's a really fun technique, but the unfortunate thing is it makes your shield durability go down way faster than it normally would. With one exception, which we'll be talking about in the next episode. Or the previous episode if you watched the alternate route first. Time paradoxes, yay! So this over here is the pathway towards the snowy mountains. We will be going over here in episode 3. So these spicy peppers, you can definitely pick these up if you need some more for your ingredients. But like I said a moment ago, we'll be going towards the Forest of Spirits before we do anything else. So we're not going to be going over that direction quite yet. Now there is some meat over here that we could use, but it's already cooked. So if we try cooking it in real life, then it's going to be burned. And it's not going to be all that yummy. When I was cooking burgers again, after not doing so for a long time, I seemed to have this problem where the burger was either overcooked or not cooked enough. I can never seem to find a good middle ground. Luckily though, my cooking has gotten a little bit better over time, so I can make burgers that are kind of decent somewhat. But now we're going over this direction, and now we're approaching the Forest of Spirits. If you want a reference point for where exactly we are, here is where we are on the map. The pond where we found our first Korok seed is over here, and I believe up that hill is the Shrine of Resurrection where we first appeared. Over in this direction, we can pick up some flint, and this is a great place to demonstrate something really cool. So if you have flint and wood, you can drop it down here, and you want to make sure you have a metal weapon for this. If you attack the wood and flint with a metal weapon, you will start a fire. So this is definitely a great place to start a fire if you need to. And the benefits of starting a fire whenever you want is you can change the time to morning, noon, or night. We won't be doing that right now because we don't really need to, but there are definitely going to be times later in the Let's Play where we're definitely going to need to do that. So the reason why I want to come into this area, there's actually a couple reasons I was going to come here anyway, even if we already did have some meat. But now, let's talk about cooking. So, there are some wild animals in the forest that we can hunt down. You can hunt the animals in this game, but there are actually some techniques in this game that will allow you to completely bypass any form of cooking. So, if you want, you can have a completely vegetarian playthrough of this game, and you can still 100% everything. You don't even need to get that recipe to get the warm to blade. There are other options of getting through the snowy area without dying, if you so desire. Well, 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 so we meet again. Can you not see that I'm hunting here? You'll scare off my prey like that. At least crouch down a bit. I'm scaring the prey. I'm scaring the prey. They'll all be my dinner. So one thing that's worth mentioning is that if you have fire arrows, which by the way, fire arrows are a thing. If you have fire arrows and you attack bad guys or wild animals or anything like that, they will automatically cook. So that's definitely worth mentioning. So now that we have the raw meat that we came here for, we could technically go back. But there's something over here that I want to do first. First of all, I should probably heal. And first of all, I should probably explain how healing works in this game. So, you may have noticed already that there are no hearts dropped in the overworld at all. Instead, you need to eat materials that you pick up across the overworld to be able to recover your hearts that way. So yeah, this is another convention that they completely changed in this game, and I like it. It's a really fun way to change up the game. This right here, this is the first field monster, the Stone Talus. There are plenty of these things all over Hyrule, and we're going to be facing every single one of them over the course of our adventure. So, how you fight a Stone Talus, if we can do it properly. So what you want to do is that you want to get on top of the stone, and it's a good idea to use a powerful weapon like... I don't use that one. We use a Traveler's Claymore and see how much this can help. After 3 attacks like that, then you definitely want to try to get off the Stone Talus before it throws you off. You can also use arrows to attack the dead as well if you do a well-timed attack! That looked painful. Ouch. Alright, so one other strategy that you could do for this boss fight is... explosives will also work pretty well against this thing, although the timing of it is a little bit hard to do. So it's probably not the best thing in the world, but something else that you can do is, before you actually do this, make sure your stamina is fully equipped, because if not, then that's not going to be a good thing. But what you can do is that if you pull out your bow and arrow while you're in the air, time will slow down and you'll be able to take in a lot more shots. Unfortunately, though, I'm apparently bad at video games, so this might take a couple tries, so I'm probably going to be doing an editing, as I'm probably going to have like a highlight montage of trying to fight this thing. But what I can certainly do right now is I can definitely demonstrate the music of this boss fight, because the theme song that plays when you're fighting a Stone Talus is actually one of my favorite songs in the game, so let's be quiet so you can listen to it. Alright, so this is a pretty good rhythm to get into right now. It will definitely break your sword pretty quickly, so that's probably not the nicest thing in the world. But this is a pretty good strategy. Well, it would have been a good strategy if we had some more weapons like that, but I guess we can use a spear as well. It's probably not the best thing to use it with a wooden weapon, but we'll keep trying anyway. Alright, so let's continue fighting this thing. Come on, we can do this. It would be so awesome if we can defeat a Stone Talus this earlier in the game. Okay, let's jump off before it knocks us off. Okay, let's try using a club. Oh, this is doing a lot more damage than before. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, Okay, jump off the thing before it knocks us off. Come on, we can do this. We can be epic. We can be more epic than Mickey. That's really epic. Oh, we're almost out of weapons. That's not a good thing at all. That is not a good thing at all in this instance. Alright, come on. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. Jump. Arrow. Boom. 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 Almost boom. It's almost defeated. It's almost defeated. We can do this. This background is so pretty. This is such a pretty game. Come on, 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 come on! Yeah! We defeated Stone Talus! Oh yeah! Defeating Stone Talus will give you lots of gemstones. It's very well worth doing this this early on in the game because, well, perhaps not this early on in the game, but it's definitely worth definitely worth the effort to get as many gemstones as humanly possible, because they are probably the most useful material you will come across besides the ancient screws or ancient springs or anything like that. It did take several attempts to defeat the Stone Talus, but it was definitely worth it. So now we're taking care of all that. Ooh, there's some more bad guys over here. But not bad guys, they're animals and stuff. But animals are evil. There we go. So we're going back over towards that house. It's probably explaining more strategies about actually hunting down wild animals in this game. So, wild animals and monsters in general, they will spot you faster if you're making a lot of noise. That's what the purple indication next to the map on the bottom right corner of the screen, that's what that's for. So, you definitely want to be careful, and the easiest way you can sneak up on enemies or animals is to crouch around and sneak up on them. So, this will also be helpful because if you're crouching, you blend more easily into the grass, or you'll at least be less easily spotted. So this is definitely something that's worth mentioning if you want to stay hidden when hunting down animals or fighting monsters or something like that. Alrighty then, so now we're back over near this house. It's time to get some cooking done. So, how you can do some cooking is that you can go over here and go into your menu, and the recipe that the old man was talking about mentioned that there was some raw meat. No, hold on to it. It mentioned that some raw meat, some spicy pepper, but it also mentions the seafood. That is the reason why I wanted to get a Hyrule bass in the first episode. So, if you didn't watch that video, then there'll be a clip on the corner of the screen that'll let you see where we got that fish. Basically, any body of water will usually have some kind of fish in it, so this is a good spot to try. And we've made the spicy meat and seafood fry. If you're moved by any wild culinary inspirations, feel free to cook yourself a meal using a pot over here. I cooked something! Wait, is that the Krabby Patty? I mean, the spicy meat and seafood fry? But how did you... Well, I suppose that's not important. Can I trouble you to share the recipe? Ah, of course, Hyrule Bass. How could I have forgotten? Well done. Now please allow me to reward your culinary efforts with this warm doublet. And we get another shirt. Oh yeah. With that, you'll be able to resist the bite of colder environments. As for me, I know a great spicy meat seafood fry recipe, so I can do without that warm doublet. Alright, so that's going to be everything we'll be taking care of in this video for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So your options for where you can go next, you can go into the next episode in the playlist, which will take you up to... Ah! Shiny! Shiny! Shiny, 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 I like shiny. Little gator to you wants to get the shiny thing. It's over there, and it's shining. It's shining and shining and shiny. Gator wants to see the shiny thing. It makes dreams come true. Gator wants to see the shiny thing. It makes him feel blue. Shiny, 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 must collect shiny, shiny must be mine, shiny must be mine, mine, shiny, I wanna see the shiny, shiny, Okay, I'm starting to get a little bit worried that that shiny thing is just barely off the plateau. If it is, that's like the meanest thing ever. Please let me have access to it right now. Please, it's so shiny. It's shiny. I want to see the shiny. No! Are you kidding me? It's just barely off the Grand Plateau and we can't go down there yet. Oh, my dreams have been crashed. Okay, so that's gonna be it for this episode of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So here are your options right now. So the next episode button will take you to the next video in the playlist where we'll be going towards the mountains of the Great Plateau. Your alternate option more so applies if you've already gotten all the shrines. This will take you to a video that will show you what happens after you get every single spirit orb off the Great Plateau. You can also hunt for Korok seeds if you want, and there's a fourth button, which is still a spoiler, and we will still not talk about that quite yet. Thank you all for watching this episode of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and until next time, leave the gear to you. Oh yeah.